If I had one lesson with you to teach you how to survive any popular music gig, whether it be rock, country, R&B, anything except jazz or classical music, I would teach you these two shapes that are going to help you master the Nashville number system and going to enable you to do what bass players are supposed to do on any style gig with any chord changes that can be thrown at you. 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord on your bass in a way that is easily accessible on the fly. Here we go. Now this first shape can be used in any key. Any key. This is the most versatile one. I call it the big box because it literally is going to be in the shape of a big rectangular box, okay? This works in any key if you're in a pinch, but it works in some better than others, okay? But again, you can go to this one anytime you need it. The big box works like this. When someone gives you the key of the song, which you have to get when you're in the Nashville number system, and we always give this by major key. Okay, the Nashville number system doesn't really work with minor keys. You can use minor keys, but most of the 95% of the time in my career, people have told me what major key we're in. So when you get the major key, let's say G major, that's where we're going to start. Put your first finger on the lowest G, the lowest tonic note on the E string. Okay, so the lowest tonic on your bass. That's my lowest G right there. Okay, that's where we start. There's your 1. 2 frets up is your 2. 2 frets above that is your 3. So in the key of G, you can see it's just following the dots here. G, A, B. That's your 1 chord, your 2 chord, and your 3 chord. Now I want you to put your first finger on all of those. Okay, there's a reason for that. I'll elaborate on it later. But first finger on the 1, the 2, and the 3 chord. Okay, now you're going to make that same shape on the same frets on the A string. That's going to be your 4 chord, your 5 chord, and your 6 chord. Okay, some people have learned this shape as part of a major scale. But here's why this is so useful. Right there in that rectangle, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You might ask, where's the 7th? The 7 chord is rarely played. Rarely ever played. That diminished chord, that's a 7 chord. Some of you might know that. Don't even worry about it. It's so rare, okay? We can figure out a workaround for that later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's your box. Now, why did I have you put your first finger on all those notes? Because you might say, that's poor fingering. You can slide up like that or slide up like this and make a better fingering. Yes, you can. You're right. Except, I want you to work that shape with your first finger because now I can use the most basic of bass player tools on any of those chords, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6. And that's the 1, 5 octave pattern. So once you get this box down, this big rectangular box with your first finger on everything, then you can start going to in random orders. Let me call out some chord changes here. Okay? Do you have your bass with you? If you're practicing with this, here's how you'll do it. Where's the 4 chord? You got to know where it is cold. Where's the 5 chord? The 6 chord? The 3 chord? The 1 chord? 2, 4, and so on and so forth. Now, once you're really familiar where everything is, you can do root, fifth, and octave on all those chords. And now you're starting to flesh out some survival bass lines. Not only survival bass lines, but bass lines that sound good in any style. And here's the kicker. You don't have to figure out right now which chords are major and minor. I know some of you will have that in the back of your head right now, and that's a good question. What about the major and minor chords? Isn't the 1 chord major, the 2 chord is minor? You're right. The 1 is major, the 2 is minor, the 3 is minor, the 4 is major, the 5 is major, the 6 is minor. I don't necessarily have to know that at the moment. because all of the root, fifth, and octave patterns, it's all the same. Now, one little other fact that you can take with you, the sixth chord, if someone does give you the key center in the minor key, that's what the sixth chord is. The sixth chord is the relative minor to whatever major key you're in. So if they say G major, that's the same set of notes, that's the same box as E minor. Okay, here's your E minor chord. And then all these chords are what you would play in the key of E minor as well. Let's hit a drum track, and I'm just going to play like kind of in a rock style with just what I've shown you so far with some random chord changes, and you're going to see how powerful this is right away. Okay, let's do a 4-1-2-6 pattern. 4-1-2-6. Okay, and again, practice it with your first finger as well, okay? Obviously, my habit is to play that in a good fingering, but the first finger opens me up to the root, the fifth, and the octave. Okay, we're gonna start adding some root, fifth, and octave to this. Whatever combinations you want. You just try it out till it sounds good. Now here's one more addition to that big box shape. The seventh and the octave. Here they are. Let me show you where they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your seventh, F sharp, is here, and your octave is here. And I want you to find them with your first and second finger, because these two notes make something that I've mentioned before in past videos. I call this a little bit of a hinge. If I play the octave, the seventh, and then the fifth on top of that shape, 2, 1, 2. You see that little shape there? Those three notes can make a lot more music when you combine them with the fifth and the octave and the root notes in this box shape. You use this little hinge here to connect your root notes like this. Check it out. I'm just going to use it on every chord. Here's the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let me use that whole hinge a little differently now. I love that. Sounds great. If you just practice with that and just find little patterns in that, man, there's so much music that you can make just with that. And like I said, you'll be able to respond to whatever chord changes are called out or established. You know exactly where the root notes are for those chord changes in that big box. Lots of music to be made there. Hey everybody, as you might know by now, I give private lessons full-time over Zoom. My lessons are fun, they're challenging. I'm at the top of my game as a private teacher. This is my bread and butter. So if you're interested in private lessons, working on anything on this instrument, any style, let's get together for a free consultation. Let's talk about how I can help you become the bass player that you want to be. So, like I said, that big box shape works in any key. However, the keys that are above the 5th fret, I would say starting from A. Now, if I make my big box on A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm starting to get to the point where my root notes, like the 6 chord and the 5 chord, they're getting kind of high, and they don't have like as much meat as I might like. So, for some of the keys that are higher up on the E string, here's the second shape I'm going to show you. This one's a little more complicated, but it's going to work great for keys where your root note belongs more on the A string. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm in the key of D major. Very common key, right? Okay, put your first finger on the 1 chord, the tonic, D. Okay, now this shape, I call this the intersection, because to start this shape, we're going to cross almost like an intersection, okay? Check it out. I'm going to cross the road from D down to A, the same fret on the E string. That's the 1 chord and the 5 chord, okay? 5, 1, 1, 5. That's the start. Cross the intersection. Now if I go up the road 2 frets from the 5 chord, I get my 6 chord. That's the B. Okay, so here we go. 1, 5, 6. Okay, if I go back to the 5 and go down 2 frets, go down the road 2 frets, I get my 4 chord. Okay, these are the most common 4 chords you're going to find in any style of music. The most common. Not the only, but the most common. So you want to, let's start this shape by getting really familiar with these 4 chords. Here we go. 4, 5, 6, 5, 1. Let's go down to the 6, 6, 5, 4. Can you see that shape? Cross the intersection, and then you can go up and down the road from the 5 chord. 4, 1, 6, 5, 4, 6, 5, 1. Again, I'm practicing using my first finger on all of those notes, okay? Because that's just a good way to get yourself in position to be able to play the 5th in the octave, or when you start getting better at this and have more knowledge, things like arpeggios or triads, okay? So that's why I like to establish moving my first finger from chord to chord at first. You don't necessarily have to do that. It's a good way to start. Okay, now, we're missing the 2 and the 3 chords so far, okay? So these are pretty easy. I've got my intersection here. Let's go back to the 1 chord. The 2 chord is 2 frets up from the 1 chord. It's my E right there, okay? Back to the 1 chord. The 3 chord can be found in 2 places. You can either go up from the 1 chord, 1, 2, 3, kind of like we did in the other shape in the big box. That's how the big box started, right? 1, 2, 3. So you can have your 2 and your 3 chord up the street from the 1 chord. Or, the way I like to do it, is go to your 4 chord and then go down a fret from there, down the street 1 fret. That's your 3 chord, okay? 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Now you might be asking, how about that really cool hinge you had before? Okay, once you get really good at finding the root notes, all 6 root notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in any chord progression, here's where your hinge is. Go to your 1, and then down 1 fret, that's your 7th, okay? The 7th, in a major key, the 7th is always a half step or 1 fret below the tonic, okay? That's a good thing to remember. So 1, 7, where's your 5? There's your 5. There's your hinge, okay? Cool, right? There's just a lot of music to be made there. I keep saying this over and over again, but guys, what's the most important part of playing bass? What's the most important part of music? I tell this every video almost. It's rhythm. If I can play in time and with great rhythm, then I can come up with bass lines with just simple ideas. Really good bass lines too. This is the start here. Okay, so really quick to recap before we do a chord progression with the drums. 1 chord, across the street, 5 chord, up the street, 2 frets, 6 chord, down the street from the 5 chord is the 4 chord, and then I've got the 3 chord extended from that 1 fret, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Now let's take that to the key of C and do a progression quick. Watch my fretboard. See if with your eyes you can follow. I'm going to call out some chord changes. See if you can follow those chord changes with your eyes. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's start with 1, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's go 1, 3, 4, 5. 3 is a fret below the 4, right? So it has to be the open E string. To the 4, 5. Let's go to the 2, up the street from the 1 chord. 4, 5, 6. 1, 3, 4, 5 with the roots and octaves. Sorry, with the fifths and octaves. Here we go. Six chord. Two chord. 5. Work the hinge. I ran out of drums. My hinge. 1, 7, 5. There's that hinge. Sounds great, right? Any style, guys. 2 shapes, right? If your chords are better, if your root note, your 1 chord is better put on the A string, you use the intersection shape. If it's better put on the E string, the box shape. Now, what if your chord is in like kind of a no man's land? What if your key is in kind of a no man's land? Well, here are the no man's land keys where you can kind of use both ideas as a hybrid. Now, remember I said the big box works on any key, so that's where we'll start. The no man's land keys for me are A flat, A, B flat, and B. Those are kind of high when you get to the 6th chord. Here's A flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're kind of getting up there with the 6th chord, right? Okay, so remember I said these can use kind of an approach with both systems. The big box works. If that sounds good to you, stick with that. But let's go to the key of B flat for a second, okay? The big box would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? That's my big box in B flat. Those notes are kind of high. They're not beefy and low like I might want. Well, first I use my box to survive. Then let's go to the A string with the 1 chord and use the intersection. Now I only have part of the intersection down here. I've got my 1 chord, cross the street, 5 chord, go up the street, 6 chord, but I can't go to my 4 chord because I can't get past E. I need an E flat. So my 4 chord is either here, here's my big box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just using the A string and the D string, right? That's my big box. But I can also put that E flat there. I just have to know a little bit of my fretboard. So I can combine both ideas, 1 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, and then the 4 chord. That works in the key of B flat. It also works in the key of B. Let's go to B. 1 chord, across the street, 5 chord, up the street, 6 chord. I can get down to my 4 chord, but I don't have my 3 chord there. So for my 3 chord, I'll have to go up the street past my 2 chord. 1, 2, 3. So I don't have quite as many options in those keys, but using kind of combining both shapes, if you're familiar with both shapes, you can play it no problem. Guys, take your time with this. Like I said, pick one of the two, get really, really good. Start with the big box. Get really good at that. Practice with songs you know. Practice you putting all of the root notes on your first finger in the big box. Get that down really well, and you'll be ready for when at least ready to survive a jam session or a gig when anybody uses the Nashville numbers, the 1 chord, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6. And you'll also have that hinge in there to help you kind of fill between chord changes. You'll also have the root, the 5th, and the octave. Of course, there are plenty other places you can go. If you're someone who's familiar with arpeggios and triads, well, you've got all those as an option as well. But if you use these two shapes as the basis of how you navigate chord changes and navigate songs, these two templates will carry you through, and you'll be able to expand on them as your fretboard knowledge and as your bass, your theory knowledge, and your ear gets better. You'll be able to expand on this endlessly. But when I play gigs, when people are calling out numbers, this is where I go. It's helped me for a long time, and it's still what I use. So, hope that was helpful. Hope everybody has a great week until I return with another one. And hey, like, subscribe, comment if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. Take care, everybody.